Recent research has uncovered a possible link between Buddha and Jesus. A new book explores the evidence for this possible link. Many have noted similarities between the teachings of Buddha and Jesus. Perhaps Jesus journeyed to India sometime between the ages of 12 and 30, when the Bible says nothing about Jesus' life. It is very doubtful that this happened. It is 2,500 miles from Palestine to the closest part of India. Jesus was the son of a poor carpenter. How could he have afforded such a trip and been able to return as well? An alternative explanation seems to be much more likely. Perhaps Buddha and Jesus had a common predecessor who influenced both of them. A likely candidate is Solomon. Solomon lived around 950 BCE, Buddha around 525 BCE, and Jesus around 30 CE. So Solomon lived 400 years before Buddha and over 900 years before Jesus. Here's what the Bible says about the influence Solomon had on his world 400 years before the Buddha lived. Quote, "Men of all nations came to listen to Solomon's wisdom, sent by all the kings of the world." Unquote. How did his influence spread? The Rig Veda, a very ancient Indian text dating back to 1500 BCE or earlier, makes numerous references to large trading ships plying the sea lanes between the Persian Gulf and India. Buddha collected 423 proverbs which appear in his first book. Over 75% of them are quite similar to some of Solomon's 600 proverbs. Did the Jews of Solomon's day know about India? Well, the Bible says Solomon had peacocks in his court. Peacocks are native to India. The Bible says, quote, "For Solomon had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks." Unquote. And Solomon had ivory. Elephants are native to India and to southern Africa. In the British Museum is a large black obelisk dated at 860 BCE from the Assyrian Empire, 3 centuries before Gautama Buddha's birth. On it is the image of an Indian elephant. We know this elephant is from India because it has 1. Small ears, 2. A small head, and 3. A comparatively small body and height. As we can see from the map, the Assyrian Empire was very large and included Israel. In 582 BCE, Babylon, where Iraq is today, conquered Israel and expelled all the Jews from their land. Many migrated to Persia and Afghanistan. Some moved on to India, settling there in 562 BCE. It is quite possible that Gautama Buddha met one of these Jewish settlers and received a translation of Solomon's Proverbs into Sanskrit. To learn more, visit buddha-christ.info or shop for Buddha and Jesus at your local bookstore or Amazon.com.